first time. Got somewhere around there. I try to do it a little different every week. All right, so here we go. Hello, everybody. Everybody, welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. I'm Tom. They call me Guitar Tom, because I'm often seen with a guitar. And back in the olden days, they used to call me on the phone and ask me questions, like, you know, hey man, what's your show about? And I say, well, it's about an hour. Guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitaristic. So I'm sorry you can't call me. You can tweet me. There's nobody standing by on Twitter, but we'll get around to it within a month or so. And ask questions about the care and feeding of your guitar, what kind of guitar is right for you, how to play the guitar, the related topics like the guitarron, the guitar, the sitar, which I'll bring on the show one of these weeks, because I have a sitar. Banjos, balaicas, bazookas, bajos, sextos, bandurias, bandolims, bandoras, mandoras, mandolins, mandocellos, banjolins, did I say that already? I don't know, ukuleles, accordions, ocarinas, pipe organs, piccolos, trombones, tromborinas, and trumpets, sackbuts, saxophones, drumhorns, and quartholts. I don't know, man, xylophones and zithers. I stepped on your line, man, I'm sorry.
It's your show.
Okay, all right, yeah. But, I mean, you know, dobros, dulcimers, and didgeridoos?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go, okay. Clarinets and clavinets, flutes and blockflute and fippelflutes. Actually, a blockflute is a fippelflute.
Does our director have some saxophone to add?
No, saxes are out of my,
Sax and,
there are many different kinds of saxophones.
that's right. Adolph Sax, because it was supposed to be easier to blow on than a horn or something, anyway. Yep. Crazy French guy, trying to making things easy for the marching band. Look what happened, you know.
Tom, if you remember last year, I was at the museum in South Dakota earlier this year.
Yeah, this year, yeah.
They had some Adolph saxophones there.
Really? Huh. I got to go there sometime. I have a student who graduated high school. She's going there. She's probably there now, going to college. So she could. I told her she should get a job at the music museum, and then she can give us all a tour. But road trip. Anyway, no one. Okay. Anyway, anything musical is fine.
Sax and violins on TV.
There you go. Sax and violins, harmoniums, harpsichords, and harmonicas. You know, I mean, tubas and timbales and timpani. I don't know. I've got a pipa. It's in the shop right now. But what else starts with a P that you can play? The piano, of course. Pianos and pipas, does that sound good?
Sure.
Oh, okay, that's the thing is.
They're musical.
Yeah, it didn't quite roll off the tongue right, but what else? Because a pianoforte, of course, is just another kind of piano. But, what else starts with P?
Well, it's just any piano, isn't it? The piano is just a short version of pianoforte.
I guess, but there's a. I mean,
the pianoforte is soft and loud, right?
Yeah, I guess pianoforte, but the forte piano and the piano. Anyway, never mind. There are a bunch of different like ancestral pianos. There's a clavichords and clavinets. Anyway, politics, world events, people's personality problems. We'll talk about it all here on Tom's Guitar Show. Address any issue as long as it's clean. So we got to keep it clean. It's a family show. Okay. So
you seem to have brought multiple guitars this week.
Only three. But my thinking. Okay, so last night I only taught 2 lessons yesterday. Normally I would go to school. I mean, you know already. the first few minutes of show I owned already. As you know, I'm back at with my co-conspirators and my cohorts, attempting to teach music at their. This is my 6th year at this job, but I don't know if it's Marquis Hall or Marquis Hall. Of course, depends on how sophisticated you are.
I suppose.
Yeah. Marquis of Queensberry Rules, or anyway.
Or a Mercury Grand Marquis.
That's right. I think it's probably Marquis. I gotta ask somebody. But anyway, it's spelled. Anyway, never mind. I have a little squalid little room at the end of the hall, which I share with the viola teacher. Fill in your own joke. Viola player jokes are notorious. They're like the Belgium of the string orchestra. You know, they don't get no respect. To quote the philosopher Rodney Dangerfield. Anyway, but I got the day off because it was Labor Day. Every day is a day of labor at Tom's Guitar Studio. And then I had a bunch of lessons who didn't come. Because normally on Monday I go up to school, you see, and then I hightail it back, teach a bunch of lessons into the evening, and then I, get ready for Tuesday. But this time I only had 2 lessons the whole day. But it gave me plenty of time to try yawn around the house and go through my guitar collection. So this one I've had in the show a few times already, and it's a Mexican Fender Telecaster. It's made in Ensenada. I know one guy in line was saying, what's the difference between people ask him what the difference is between an American and a Mexican Fender. They say about 40 miles. But there's more difference than that. This is actually pretty good guitar, wood-wise and everything. The pickups were not that good, and so I had them swapped out for DiMarzio Area T pickups in the white and stained because this thing was in storage for 10 years after it was built in 2008, and I got it in 2018. So the white had the Fender, printing and stuff on the plastic that you have to peel off when you buy the guitar, because if you leave it on too long, it breaks down. Anyway, the Fender's stamp thing bled through and was now permanently affixed to the plastic. And it was white anyway. So I got this, which I think looks kind of stylish with a kind of reddish tortoiseshell. No tortoises were harmed, by the way. This is just plastic. But anyway.
Synthetic tortoiseshell.
Yeah, it's not fake tortoiseshell, but it looks like tortoiseshell. And anyway, but the guitar itself is fine. Now, I don't have any noise reduction whatsoever on this. And I don't hear anything, right? We'll hear something more when I get the honey-colored one, the honey-tinted G&L. But anyway, so I was going through my collection, and the thing I've noticed, I've had some little trouble with my shoulder. I keep going on about it every week, and I did okay last week, the weekend before this last one, playing the big fat jazz box at my gig for like 4 hours at a time, being very careful how I held it. But then on Friday night, it started to really bother me. So I had brought a skinnier little guitar. I forget which one, but it was real nice, just like easy to play. Just I didn't have to stick my arm out. It was just great. So these are actually easier to play, and I like the sound of a Telecaster. This one does sound like a Tele to me. I have another one that's. I know. I brought one of my other tricked out Teles. It had Seymour Duncan noiseless pickups. And
Something on the internet last week said Fender did not play the guitar.
No, he made them for other people. He did electronics. He made amplifiers. I think he did like radio repair. They started building amplifiers for electric guitars, and they started building guitars. And this is the basic design of the early Fender. It hasn't changed. Something very similar to this in the late 40s, and by the early 50s, this was solidified. Now, I have a couple other ones that have the 3 brass saddles, and to do the intonation, you have to twist them turn them to the sides, because the strings are different lengths to make more in tune. Some people prefer that; they say they get better sustain. So I have 2 like that. Sorry, and yeah, sorry, I was looking to make sure the other one wasn't. And anyway, yeah, but this is that design. This is the was the broadcaster, then it was the no name because I think Rickenbacker owned the name broadcaster for a guitar, so he called it Telecaster. So, and it's changed very little since then. So, and it's a great design in its own way. The other thing about it is like, so if you think about and anyway, I've brought some big fat hollow bodies on the show before, but building a big hollow body guitar is quite complicated. Well, everybody knows that in the 1920s, they started replacing the banjo with a guitar in the jazz band. And, because, well, we can fill in our own banjo player jokes, but, the banjo's kind of obnoxious, sounding. There are a lot of jokes about the way it sounds. Why do they call it a banjo? Because
It sounds like one.
that's what it sounds like, man. Anyway, but, so still looks like Bob's got a fire under him, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe when you sat down, you had a little more shadow to it.
Yeah. Oh, well. But anyway, so they started making guitars big. Gibson started making these guitars with a curved top and back, like a violin or a cello, and F-holes. And by the way, they have ones kind of, the Pro Shop, they have a used Gretsch, arch top with F-holes, but it doesn't have a pickup in it, which is cool. Anyway. But so people started, okay, so they did this, and it still wasn't loud enough, these big, arch top guitars. So they, figured out how to make pickups. The radio was coming in strong. Radio became very popular. People learned how to do the, radio repair and build radios, and so they figured out, amplifier, and pick up the vibration of the string. So they started making pickups, and they started modifying radios and making amplifiers. So by the time Fender comes around in the late 40s with his guitar, the electric guitar was around. There are a bunch of them, like those big hollow bodies that I play on the show. And then if you build one of those, you got to build this great big arch top guitar with a bunch of braces on the inside. You got to either carve that wood, or if it's laminated, you got to press it properly and everything like that. It's kind of hard to do. But this is a plank of wood, and the neck is bolted on back here. It's just a plank. They say, people complain, they make fun of a guitar like this. Say, yeah, anybody with a bandsaw could make a Telecaster. So, yeah? Well, why don't you go do it then? Anyway, so that was his genius.
And some people do.
That's right, and some people do, yeah. And they make them out of all kinds of things, mufflers and, There's a guy who did sculptures of women, and I went to this guy's guitar workshop near Carmel, California once, and he was working on these. He built these guitars, beautiful wood, all kinds of like figures in the wood and stuff. But he would carve, women without clothing, into them, sculpture them. So the horn sticks out like that would be a lady, and then the knobs. No, it wasn't anything like that. It wasn't like that. Okay, but anyway, yeah, you can make a guitar out of anything, but this actually, the wood makes a big difference in electric guitar. Anyway, so.
You ever wonder why cars don't have that flying lady with the light up wings anymore on the
Yeah.
hood ornament?
Yeah, I haven't seen a hood ornament for a while, but
Oh, there's still, Mercedes still has one, I think.
yeah. You know what I heard though? There's a kind of a leech that they suck. That if you get them off of you, they leave a mark that looks just like the Mercedes logo, just like that. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we should. Hey Bob, let's give up this music business.
Let's go into the hood ornament business.
Let's make hood ornaments, and we can go stick them on for people to start with, and then see if it catches on.
Chrome ladies with light up wings.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. LEDs, man. We could probably, these days we could probably do all kinds of things,
Yeah.
They didn't have the little, like,
No, they used to had to have a little bulb in there and then the
yeah.
plastic wings.
Right. Yeah. I remember seeing those, but, it was the Oldsmobile had a certain number of holes in the side?
No, it's Buick.
A Buick, that's right.
Cruiser line Ventaports.
Ventaports, yeah. Yeah, where they, and you got the better one, you got another hole or something.
Yeah, I think the Roadmaster had 4.
Yeah.
The lesser Buick had 3.
Yeah. That'd be a status symbol to get extra hole in your,
Yeah.
in your Buick, yeah. They still make Buicks, don't they? They don't make Oldsmobiles
Yeah.
anymore, do they? Or,
No, Oldsmobile and Pontiac are gone, but
yeah.
they're still selling Buicks.
See, my grandfather always liked Pontiacs, and my mother always liked Plymouths. So I never had a Pontiac. I've had 2 Plymouths in my life.
I have a Pontiac.
Right.
My son had a Plymouth.
Yeah. Well, I've had 2.
I had an Oldsmobile.
Really? Well, there you
Yeah, I
go.
traded my Oldsmobile in on a Pontiac.
Well, you can't do that anymore. Well, I guess you
No.
could at Duffy's old cars or whatever like that, but anyway, so this guitar here actually is maybe this is everything I've ever wanted in an electric guitar right here. You got your Telecaster, nicely made in Mexico, but I got nothing against. I have no objection to Mexico or Mexican workmanship. And they use the same wood, and they're very closely connected with the Ensenada is very closely connected with Corona, California, right up the coast. They, so. I mean, the difference between this one and an Indonesian Fender is huge. But the difference between this one and an American one is very, very slight. Sometimes people like these better. I drive my car like I have to sometimes, and I wasn't really getting into what they were playing on the KUNI or the KSUI as far as the public radio, so I went to the what is it? One out of Rock Island. I know it, but I can't. Well, it's Augustana College Public Radio Station. And they had like a Celtic, Gaelic speakers type of music. I mean, it was all the announcer was speaking English, but
Is it K or a W?
I think it's a K, but
As a general rule, east of the Mississippi, there are W's and west are K's, but
yeah.
that's not,
No, WVIK. It was WVIK. I think that's what it was. Yeah, you're right.
you know, we've got WMT and WOR in Iowa, but, so it's not 100%. But
Well, it used to be
as a general rule.
the grandfathered in or something. He's gonna get his
Yeah,
microphone.
the WMT and the Des Moines station, WHO, they're just so old, that was before they
Yeah.
did the guideline, west of the Mississippi goes K, so they're grandfathered in. So
Yep.
they're old and time-honored radio stations.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, any of them with a 3-letter call, you know they're an old one.
Yeah, that's another thing, yeah, only 3 letters. Only 3 letters, yeah.
But anyway, so I was listening to WVIK, and one thing I heard, which I'd kind of forgotten about, was this like amazing, like the rhythm guitar parts in some of this, like more contemporary Irish and Scottish music, which is kind of based on the traditional stuff. But these rhythms, you know, there's some guys like strumming away on a loud acoustic guitar, like a dreadnought or something with a pick. Well, you know, where you get everything. Well, one that had bagpipes in the band and stuff like that. I've been refining my joke, by the way, of the guy asked a bagpiper if he takes requests. And he said, "Yeah, I take requests. Play Over the Hills and Far Away." Okay. Which is a real song, by the way. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, but
Like, do you play solo?
Yeah.
You play solo, I can't hear you?
there you go. Yeah, even better. But anyway, so that's sort. So I was thinking about this because a long time ago I used to hang around Stone City all the time. I think they have music up there now too. They used to have quite a music scene up at Stone City. Famous for Grant Wood lived there for a while and did a painting called Stone City. So it's like a they have like a knick-knack shop, or they used to anyway. And they had but they had the general store, which is the local general store for the quarry guys, because it's called Stone City, because not for the reasons that might have been Stone City when I used to hang around there with all the hippies, but
Because they had a quarry there?
yeah, a quarry there, yeah. So the quarry, it was a general store made out of stone, of course, turned into a concert hall. And in the basement they had a bar. And and up the hill they had the mansion, the big house, which I guess was where the guy who owned the quarry lived. And so anyway, the mansion was a bed and breakfast place, touristy place, where you could stay. And they had this tradition, this other guy that I knew who quit the job. I got his job, which was playing classical guitar for a couple hours over dinner, for like $25 and dinner in Stone City. So anyway, so I got that gig from him. And then I would go down the hill and make myself useful. Sometimes I would attend bars. Sometimes I would take tickets at the door. Sometimes I'd wait tables when it was really busy. Sometimes the act wouldn't show up, and I'd sub, and I'd play on that stage. So it was kind of, I did that for a couple of years. That's where I got my dog. See, his mother was Katie, the house dog at the inn at Stone City, and I was Tom, the house guitarist. So,
Are you the house guitarist anywhere now?
well, yeah, Tuscan Moon in Kelowna, beautiful downtown Kelowna, Iowa. I'll be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I could reminisce about what went wrong on Saturday, by the way, but as you
Be
may-
that as it may, you'll be there this Saturday.
I'll be there this Saturday. I was there last Saturday, but for some strange reason, I didn't have a guitar. So, long story. But anyway, I don't know why I was talking about Stone City. Oh, yeah, because they used to have these Irish groups and these Scottish groups and these traditional groups, who are the most chauvinistic of all musicians, by the way. I'm talking about Americans who are playing Irish and Scottish music, trying to get in their, especially the Scots, trying to get in touch with their roots. You know that like the banjo player joke, about how many banjo players does it take to screw in a light bulb? 5. one is screwed in and forced to sit around saying, that ain't the way Earl did it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see? So,
I'm a little slow on the uptake
yeah,
tonight.
okay, you memorize all the banjo jokes, but
Yeah.
I haven't had a banjo on the show for a while, so, but the traditionalists, you know,
Yeah,
there's gotta be,
Should have hit that one on rehearsal today, and then I remembered.
yeah, right, yeah, yeah, well, the first 2 hours of rehearsal were brutal, man, then it would start to hit a groove, anyway, but, well, so, I mean, the thing is, so these are people who wear the tartan, the sort of plaid, you know, that, from some clan or whatever like that, and if your Kmart flannel shirt is off, you know, somebody's gonna call you on it, you know? Say, well, I'm sorry, I'm not Scottish, I just wore the plaid shirt because it was on sale for $6 in the clearance rack, you know?
At my Kmart.
At Kmart, you know, but anyway. Kmart, yeah. I used to watch Monarch of the Glen, there was the one about the American, a relative, the McDonald's. I suppose your family coat of arms could be 2 crossed hamburgers.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I used to play with these people and try to keep up and, you know, get the rhythms right. And it's just sort of like, stuff like that. And it really gets you going, man. I mean, you're not going to do a schottish or anything like that. You might do that, some of that Irish step dancing, where you keep your feet like that and you kick around. Well, I can't do it. I don't suppose you know how to do that either.
No, I don't want to do that.
Probably, okay.
I used to watch Ferguson. He had a clip of a bunch of chimps. And, you know, it's probably animation, but modern, realistic looking animation of chimps doing clog dancing.
Oh, really? So that was how I felt about the Irish. Anyway, anyway, I'm saying the rhythms are way cool in this kind of music, I thought. And the rhythm guitar part for this is great. I've got the Irish tenor banjo, which basically doubles the fiddle line an octave lower. Ding, 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 and they go together and everything, that's cool. And the boron, boom, ba-da-doom, boom, ba-da-doom, that's cool. I got a boron hanging on the wall at home. Never did get that good at it. I'm not much of a drummer, but it was a useful thing to have around the house. But the guitar thing is way cool. And of course, without an American guitar, they couldn't do it because, you know, they didn't have guitars. Traditional Irish music and the steel string guitar, the big fat steel string guitar is an Americanism, which has been adopted around the world. We used to be a country that invented things. So.
Yeah.
Dreadnought guitars and Telecasters, sending a man to the moon.
But now we buy them from China.
That's right. Yeah. Anyway, so that's my right. Okay, I'm all right. So here it is. This also makes it good, like.
ain't the way he did it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Anyway, you did it. Was it the Riders of the Purple Sage or somebody who did it, Rich? Or
Vaughn Monroe had the big hit on it.
yeah,
I think.
Vaughn Monroe, yeah. Well, I like a lot of people did it.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny Cash did it with the Muppets. That was worthwhile. But,
Yeah, I liked the Muppets. I wish they were still on.
yeah. Well, so there's a book that I use for teaching, basic guitar. And one of the first songs they give you after you learn the first 3 strings is the Rockin' Robin. Ding, 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 ding. Similar simplified version of it.
Tweet, tweet, tweet.
Yeah, right. So I have the kids there, and there are a lot of kids that come to their lesson, and they really don't want to be there,
Yeah.
And so I have a couple things that I do. One thing is I'm overly goofy in some ways. I mean, naturally goofy. I don't have to, it's not an air that I put on, anything like that. And also I have the cat who comes in, and usually sits in the mother's, or she prefers father's, but she'll sit in father's laps, and then smiles and purrs. And if she likes you, she'll roll over to rub her belly. If she likes you a lot, she'll start licking you. And if she really likes you, she'll bite you. But anyway, and that helps distract things. And the other thing I have going for me is humming. I have a great big iMac computer there. 10 years old, but it still works. Big screen on it. So I dial up YouTube and I show them the Muppets doing Rockin' Robin. Because, I mean, what they have in the book is like... They don't even give the 4th line, which would be... That would have C sharp in it, so they can't give you that. So I showed the kids...
You better tell us what this guitar is.
Well, this is a G&L Telecaster. I forget which one it is. I don't forget. I know. ASAT, but it's an ASAT. But anyway, yeah, it's a G&L. So everybody knows what happened with Fender, right? So like that was 1965, something like that. Fender. The story I heard was he thought he was going to die. He sold his company to CBS, who not only would employed Walter Cronkite or whatever, but also was a manufacturer of electronic stuff and all kinds of big company.
And all the guitar pickers say the CBS Fenders are no good.
That's what they said. The pre-war and post-war. Anyway, so Leo, who I guess he got better and continued on for many years afterwards. And so he worked for Music Man for a while, and so a lot of Music Man and guitars look a lot like. Yeah, I think this neck is too shiny, man. It's like, it's invisible.
Transparent, doesn't it?
Anyway, but, okay, so Leo, we've worked with Music Man for a while. Then he started a company with George Fullerton, who was his marketing manager or whatever, at Fender. So G&L is George and Leo. And the ASAT, so you can't say Telecaster, ASAT was a satellite, I think. The ASAT. So some people say as same as Telecaster, but that's not good grammar. It should be the same as Telecaster. That would be, but apparently it was actually the ASAT, which was a satellite at the time. So this is like, it's probably the 70s when that happened, somewhere. So anyway, so this is one of theirs. This actually has got really cool sounding pickups. But if I don't have this MXR noise gate, smart gate, you hear that pretty well. And nice big folds up, so I don't actually lose too much tone by losing the buzz. Anyway, so before I was telling my boring story about what I did on my Monday, there was almost a day off, and I went through guitars and I was making different sounds. Making up music, sitting there in my, just, like, I didn't have my looper with me, or I didn't have a looper set up, just through my other PV valve king setup. thick maple neck and a varnished, slippery, like, you know, lacquered or whatever fingerboard. So it's very, very, like, smooth, man. But the frets are pretty, they're pretty tall, chunky. So this is actually, the thing about this guitar, well, Telecasters in general, but this one, especially among my modest collection, is that when it comes to like acoustic guitars with nylon strings, the one that I really like to fool with is flamenco guitars because they're a little bit brighter and a little bit like crisper sounding. They're little quicker to move around on them than a big old classical guitar. And this sort of is like the electric guitar version of that. I mean, as I've proved, I mean, you can use like a... do that really well. But... keep going on about Bill Frisell. Easy for me to remember because I see these videos of him, his hair's kind of frizzy sticking out. Bill Frisell's a bona fide jazz guitar player, does a lot of studio work. I'm going to switch over again. So he was like a studio jazz guitar player for many years and did a lot of different things. And so definitely a well-respected jazz guitar player, but he's taken to playing like old pop songs or like Beatles and Beach Boys and stuff like that on Telecasters and things. So I discovered him on YouTube when I was looking at watching how people play guitar and stuff. That's what YouTube's for, isn't it?
I think.
Or
That and cats.
Cats, yeah, okay. So hang on. So hang on, don't. Need to have it fall over and break the neck. Now that says how much I like that guitar. But anyway, yeah. So Bill Frisell will do he does his thing. He plays all sorts of things you wouldn't really expect a jazz guitar player to play. And he plays on guitars you wouldn't expect, a guy like them to play. Like you expect a big fat jazz box, but he's using like a Telecaster or a Stratocaster in some cases, and getting really nice sounds. He's got one with I don't know what he's using for a pickup. I've never seen anything quite like it. This huge pickup on it. And it's a strangely decorated Telecaster. Looks like an old one. All right, so this here, yeah. See if it works. I don't think it requires any. Okay, so this is sort of Telecaster-ish. You see it's got a nod to the Fender style or G&L style headstock. And it's sort of shaped like a Telecaster. It's contoured. And I don't know how I feel about this guitar because every time I play it, I kind of wish I had played something else. And think about selling it, getting something else. And I have another one I feel that way about too, a very close relative of this one. Different pickups, but the same design. But maybe I like it. I don't know. Last week I had this one's sister on the show, a very brown one, light brown. Reminded me of the tan M&M. I don't know what M&Ms look like anymore, but when I was a kid, it was always like the tan one that I wanted to get for some reason. They were kind of rare, very light brown colored M&M, and that was the color that the other one is. This one is a Tutti Frutti. Looks like a morning in May or whatever like that. But anyway, so this is sort of like a... But they're supposed to be exactly the same guitar. The only difference is the other one has a rosewood fingerboard, and this one is just all maple, and different color. Same pickups, same everything, made in the same factory in the same year. But it sounds different to me. And I'm never quite happy with it. I don't know if I'll sell it or not. Because I kind of dig having this, because most of my guitars are kind of, stodgy, shiny black, This one's sort of, don't you think it's sort of...
a little flair.
No, it's sort of cheerful, sort of, you know what I mean? A little bit more, not the same old stodgy, black and blue and stuff. So, anyway, but it doesn't... The other one, we played it here last week on the show. It sounds really nice to me. This one sounds different. I don't know. Maybe somebody else could have fun with it. Maybe I should just like raise the pickups or something, or lower them or something. I don't know. Also, have you know that the Musicians Pro Shop is supposed to be getting a few more D'Angelico guitars in at any moment. It's supposed to ship September 1st, which was Saturday or something, wasn't it? Or, yeah.
Yeah, it was over the weekend.
And then, of course, there was, so that's Saturday, and then there's Sunday, and then Monday's a holiday.
Today is the 4th, so. Yeah, Saturday would have been the 1st.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, yeah. Yeah, I can do that kind of math, because I'm a musician, I can only count up to 4.
Yeah.
So anyway, but, I've gotten into a kind of a D'Angelico toot. I went into a serious reverend, this is of course being a reverend guitar thing for a couple of years, and that's sort of...
Yeah. Now you've passed through your reverend phase?
Pretty much. I still play them and I like them, but I'm not sure if I want as many as I had. I might have overdone it. So if this one was overdoing it, and I'm going to try to decide that in this show, it's pretty nice, but... But, I took it to my gig as the extra guitar the other day, a couple weeks ago. And, because I had this shoulder thing and I was playing a big jazz box and just, sitting like, because I played for 4 hours. And you can come and hear me this weekend for 4 hours. Probably indoors. We're in the monsoon season.
Will that be at the Tuscan Moon?
Oh, yeah, I'll be there, yeah.
That in Kelowna?
Yeah. So what happened was, okay, so they had the car show, the annual car show. So they have all these old shiny cars, all fixed up and everything. And they have trophies for the judges, whatever. And sponsored by Tuscan Moon, and they hire a DJ, a disc jockey, who's an old fellow who used to be a radio disc jockey back in the old days. And he knows all the old songs, from the 50s and 60s. So he sets up his stuff and he play, rock and roll songs from the 50s and 60s. And then you see people who are my age and older, I would be one of the young ones, out there boogieing, around these cars, So one year a 59 Impala won, shiny thing, red. I wouldn't mind having a car like that, except it sucks the gas. But anyway, but this year, we're in this monsoon season, by the way, and they've just upgraded the moderate flooding to severe flooding in Cedar Rapids. So the 500-year flood happens every couple of years now.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's Cedar Rapids. This is Kelowna, so we're, the water, the English River is far enough away, we're probably safe. But if it rains, people don't want to go out with their fancy cars, So, anyway, so not nearly as many cars showed up as normal. So I called in at 4:30, because I usually, supposed to get about 6:30. And the guy, bartender, waiter guy said, "Oh no, the sun's shining and all the cars are here. So you don't need me." So, okay, but come anyway, we can have dinner. So I hung around till about 7 o'clock and went there, and there were only 2 cars left. And the restaurant was packed. I still had the DJ playing the music out for nobody in the street. Just, just the occasional Amish person walking around, and maybe they were grooving to the tunes, I don't know. And so, and then I hung around saying, "Oh, geez," but the DJ is still doing his thing outside, it's too loud. And then I said, "Do you have a guitar?" And that was like the one time I didn't put a guitar in the car. I should have put just like a old classical guitar with a pickup in it in the car, but I didn't. And so I just sat around, and watched. The place was packed. All kinds of people. I would have played till 10. I might have made a little money. I don't know.
Might have been more than one thing going on, but I was down in Coralville Friday. I saw a Chevelle convertible and a Kaiser.
Ah, Kaiser?
Yeah. So I figured something's going on somewhere.
Yeah. Well, they probably went to Kelowna or something. That was Saturday, though, the Kelowna thing. So everything's going on all the time.
There used to be some kind of a meet Friday nights in Iowa City. I don't know. I don't take the paper anymore, so I don't keep up with that stuff.
Yeah. There's also a car museum in Coralville. There's a classy chassis thing once a year.
Those Are you talking about the car meetups that they used to have at the Sycamore Mall?
I didn't know where they were, but I knew they were in Iowa
Yeah, they
City.
used to be about once a year. I have seen them more recently out at the Coral Ridge Mall. And as far as Saturday goes, you know, it was Fry Fest in Coralville. That may be where everybody was, you know, with their cars and stuff. It's become a big deal. They even had fireworks
Oh, really? Wow.
that night. Yeah. And speaking, you mentioned the monsoon season we're having, and you mentioned the 500-year floods and all that. But keep in mind that stuff usually happens in late spring, like in June, July, and here we
Yeah.
are in September, where typically the river levels are pretty much at their lowest. You know, September, October, the river levels are traditionally very low around here.
I think about that every time I'm out there mowing my grass. That we've been through August. It's supposed to go dormant in August.
Yeah, exactly. So again, you know, to climate change deniers, go figure.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to, a lot of the times the climate change deniers are just saying, well, it's not our fault, though, it's sunspots. Or, well, it is our fault, nothing we can do about it now. And, yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Well, the weather's going to be different for the rest of our lives and far beyond. It's never going to be the same.
Yeah, from what I understand, listening to somebody recently, actually the sun is at a very cool phase right now.
Right.
It's not contributing to the
Right. Well, that was debunked a long time ago. I mean, yeah, it was a little bit more, but it wouldn't, and it was, and the sun was actually lower energy, and yeah. Anyway, we've got 2 minutes. So I got this one here is Reverend Charger, and it's if I push the bright button on my amp, it'll sound more like I want it to. It'll be loud too. Hang on. Well, but there's nothing left to do but play the Tom's Guitar Show theme. So I'll get you. Be back next week for another fun-filled hour of